guys, and welcome to another episode of Should You Bake It? This one is going to be a super special edition because I'm going to be reviewing one of my all-time favorite YouTubers, Jen Johns from Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio. Now, I have been a super fan of hers for years, probably about 3 years now. And over that period of time, we have become friends and we have talked. Now she does live in Canada and I live in Georgia, so we mostly chat over the internet, of course. And she has become a great friend, and I have been wanting to make something of hers for a very long time. And I probably don't have to tell any of you how amazing all of her recipes are and how incredibly stunning they are. So I am a little bit nervous to do this one. It is one of her brand new ones that she had just done. It is the Birch Bark Log Cake with Pink Camo. Now, being in the South with the real tree, Pink Camo is very huge. So when I saw this one, I was super excited about this one. And it does have a lot of details to it. So again, a little more excited, but all of her cakes are just that amazing. So I thought to myself, okay, now's the time that I have to do something. And if you haven't, and I did, as soon as it came out, you have to get her book. Now, this isn't sponsored by any means and isn't something that she knew that I was going to do, but I wanted to promote her Happiness is Homemade book, and you can purchase it on Amazon.com like I did the moment it came out. But this is where her recipes are, and I'm going to leave a link to all of her social media in the description box down below, and where you can get everything that she has to make this cake. And her vanilla cake recipe is in here, and I'm going to be using her, she used her vanilla buttercream, and I kind of happened to stumble upon her raspberry buttercream, and her buttercream is pink, and I thought to myself, raspberries add more pink, and it looked absolutely delicious, and it's in here amongst many things. And there are some secret ones in here that she doesn't show on her channel, so it's another reason why you should get this. But it is a staple in my kitchen, always back here, because it's a go-to for me, always. So if you haven't got it, you have to. It is a must. So Amazon.com for Happiness is Homemade, and it's just amazing. I use it all the time. So I'm holding it straight because otherwise the pages would be curled. But it's a must for me. My Jen. So without further ado, because the intro is going to be longer than this, I have everything prepped. We're going to come over here and I'm going to show you all the utensils that you're going to need. Like I said, I'll leave the links down below to where you can get the full details for the ingredients and everything that you're going to need. But we'll pop over here. It's just me. I don't have my daughter or my husband to help me with the camera today, so sorry about that. It's just me. I'm gonna do my best. And it's a little dark out today. It's a little gloomy here. It's Georgia. What are you gonna do? So we'll pop over here and I'll show you everything that I've got prepared, and then we'll get started on the review. Super excited, Jen. Okay, let's come over here. Okay, some of the things that you are going to need is you're going to need, sorry for the shaky camera. Okay, so some of the things you're going to need is you're going to need some white fondant and the pink dye, and we're going to need that for our buttercream. And over here, I already have my buttercream, like I said, the raspberry buttercream, and I also did use some of the pink dye to dye it a little. We're going to need fondant roller. If you don't have a fondant roller, you can just use a rolling pin, that's fine. Some of the tools she used was a boning tool, and that's to make some of the marks that we're going to need to get that birch bark look for the log. Paintbrush. We're going to need a ruler for the size of our cake. I have a little tiny one. Look at this. Pink. Look at that. A can't tell you guys how much this comes in handy. I keep it in my purse, just like now. We're gonna need a set of cookie cutters. And we're gonna use the round side, not this side. I have a cake mover, a cake stand, and it unlocks and it turns. It's not one of those fun tilting ones, but it does the trick. And I have a fondant mat, and it's just perfect for fondant. If not, you can just roll your fondant out on the countertop, that's fine. Just make sure you either have some powdered sugar or some cornstarch so it doesn't stick to the counter or your surface. And over here, very important, what she does in her video is brilliant. She has an 8-inch round cake board that we're going to use to cut our fondant out for the top. See how it matches up perfectly? And we can do some trimming if we need to also. That's going to be the top round part of the fondant for our cakes. And I have 2 8-inch round cakes that I made yesterday, and I had cooled in the fridge because it's always easier to work with cooled cakes, especially when you're covering with buttercream and using fondant. So I've just leveled those off, and look how beautiful they turned out. It is incredible. Look at the pink camo effect that you get on that. It is amazing. Her recipe is just perfect. So these are the tools that we're gonna need. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put my cakes up on the cake stand, cover them with the buttercream, and chill them for about 10 minutes in the fridge, and then we're gonna get started on the fondant work. Yay! So right now I have my first layer on a second cake stand, and I just put some buttercream underneath to keep it stable, and I pressed it down, and I'm gonna start putting the buttercream in the first layer, and then I'll top the second one. And another great tip that Jen does, and I love to do when I'm decorating my cakes, that you don't have to do, is I put my buttercream in a plastic bag. You don't have to use a tip or anything like this. You can just use a bag and cut the end off. And when you're filling your cakes, you just squeeze the inside of the round like that. And while you're squeezing with even pressure, you just turn your table like this. And that way it ensures that you get an even layer of buttercream all around your cake. So that makes it easier. And then you can just go around with your little offset spatula and you can smooth it just like that. It just makes it much easier. You don't have to, but it makes it easy. So that's what I'm doing right now. And we'll be back. Okay, so we have our top layer on. It is all coated. Now we didn't need like a huge crumb coat and then a second coat because we will be topping the top with the fondant, and then we'll be covering the sides with the fondant as well. So we just needed a thin layer, as you can tell. So we have our coat, and we have our 8-inch round that we are going to be using as our stencil to do the top part of the fondant for the birch tree. So we're going to take that, roll out our fondant, and we're going to cut that around, and then we'll place it on top, and we'll be back. Okay, so the next step is to make the circles on the top of the cake, and we have our set of circles set up here, and we're going to start with the largest one, and we're just going to press enough to make an indent. We don't want to go all the way through, but we do want to make sure that we have it like that. And we're going to use all of the circles, and we're just going to go in through the necks, making sure that it's centered enough, and again pressing down with even pressure, not going all the way through, but just enough that you can see the indent. And then there's no bigger circle than the largest one, so her amazing tip is she used the tunes of the fork, and she just set it on the edge of the last one and just put even pressure, and then turn the turntable around like that. So that's what I'm going to continue doing, and then we'll be back as soon as I'm done. So what I did here is, after I made my marks, is I went ahead and I got some cocoa powder and a little bowl over here with the paintbrush, and I went ahead and started brushing over the marks, and it looks amazing. Now if you like art or any sort of art, like painting, drawing, or anything like this is a super fun project. Like me, I love to draw and stuff, so I'm taking a lot of my time in doing this because it's fun. And that mark that I made right there, I just used that boning tool like she has, and I made that indent right there. And I went ahead and took that cocoa powder and brushed that on the inside to make it more defined. And it's turning out amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the other side, and then we'll come back to cover the outside with fondant. Okay, so I have my edges cut out, and I wasn't able to get it all one strip, so I have 2 strips cut for the circumference of my cake, and I just have it rolled up on my fondant rolling pin, and I'm going to attach it that way. So I have it standing up, and I'm just going to carefully and slowly unravel it, attaching it to the bottom and pressing at the same time. And then I'll trim off any edges that I need to when I've gone around and attached both pieces. And then we'll be back. Alright guys, we are all done. We went around and we used our black food coloring and our paintbrush, and we went around the sides and we painted all of our little birch marks, and that's how it turned out. And I did make a heart, and there was a lot of initials I can stick on this cake, but what came to mind was an E for my niece, Elizabeth, who is now in heaven with us. Not with us, but in spirit. On top, I did also add a B for my daughter, Brittany, and a K for my niece, Kayla. So, I added those, and I did make a slice. I haven't opened it yet, so we will take it out, and we will see the pink camo, the big reveal. Oh, there we go. Alright, there is the pink camo, and I'll turn here so you can see the inside of the cake. There it is, pink camo, hidden inside. That is really cool. I love it. That turned out amazing. And like I said, you know, if you guys are like any sort of artists or anything like that, then this is incredible. You know, I just took my time, and you could spend hours doing this because it literally is amazing. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and this was so much fun to make. And again, Jen John's Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio, if you don't already know. And her book is available on Amazon.com, so if you don't already have it, go get it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.